Welcome, everyone, to the Mike Straw Show here on Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. We're already into October. I mean, we started October last week, but it's opening night of the NHL. It is baseball playoffs. A lot going on. Crazy Kazzy, thank you for the subscription on YouTube. I'm glad my notifications are working on both platforms now. I got that, my YouTube subscriptions and my Twitch follows. So, thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a big show. We have a lot to talk about today, as we had the launch of Undisputed. We have Madden 25's poor performance. We have Motorsport Games issues. We have innovation in video games and what's going on with that. And then, of course, I'm answering your questions. As always, get them in the chat. If it's relevant to the topic at hand, we will talk about it. If not, they will be at the end of the show. But you are tuned into Mike. I am Mike Straw. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share, however you can to share this show every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have some stuff to talk about, too, with the future of the show as well towards the end that I want your opinion on. Also on YouTube, we have Super Chats enabled finally, and those are finally actually working properly. So if you want to guarantee your question right when you send it, feel free to throw a Super Chat. I will never say you have to donate to get your questions asked. I will never or answered as long as I see them and it's not overwhelming. We will get to every question before the show goes off the air. For gaming coverage, all of my gaming coverage, aside from here, is at insider-gaming.com. Had the exclusives last week with AEW. My review of Undisputed, my written review and video review is up now. I'll talk more about that in a minute. And if you're into sports and you are into hockey, hockey season starts officially tonight. And my columns regularly, multiple times a week, over at TWSN.net, the Right Way Sports Network, TWSN.net. Great team over there. Love writing for them. All of my hockey coverage, power rankings every Monday, columns. Today, the last couple days, I dropped 2 columns. Ron Francis should be fired. This should be Ron Francis's last season as Kraken GM, because if you follow me, you know my feelings for that. If you follow my time from Full Press Hockey. Also, that this Mike Sullivan is kind of destined to be fired from the Pittsburgh Penguins after this year due to the failures over the last 7 years. So those are at TWSN. But now we need to get into it. We have a lot to talk about today. And when I say a lot, good evening, Dirt Fan. Good evening, Saber Danger. Good evening, Justin. No slip-ups. Hello, everyone. We're going to talk some NHL as well. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about all of it. But we're going to jump right in and get started here. We are going to talk Undisputed. It's finally here. WBC Deluxe Edition Access open today. My review at Insider Gaming went live yesterday. You can go read that in full. But I do want to talk about it because a lot of people have said great things. Like, I appreciate all the kind words about the review. I have played this game for over a year at this point. I've played this game for well over a year. Or about a year. I have had a blast. No slip-ups, I will get into that. I've had an absolute blast playing Undisputed. So, but there is a lot of discourse around the game. But first, so, things I like, before we get into the concerns of people. There is a lot of stuff I like about Undisputed that I couldn't talk about for a while because I had the current build of the game. They did a lot with the punches that just feel more natural. There are still some hiccups with like frame rate drops, but those I expect to be updated as we go. But they did a lot with this game that made me really happy. I obviously love the roster we have to play in that game. 70 plus, over 70 fighters, the largest ever. The largest ever in a game. We have more coming. I did an interview with Ash Habib and Will Kinsler from Steel City. That went live yesterday as well, where I asked if they can drop some names, and they can't. I have heard rumors of names. We've all heard rumors of names, but they did not confirm any names to me as far as who was coming. But they did say they have more news coming soon that people will be excited about. That people should be excited about. The modes, prize fights, fun, quick mode, difficult. Career mode is a very divisive mode. So a lot of people are upset that there's no narrative in career mode. A lot of people are upset about that. I personally am not one of those people. All right, I am one of those. I don't like when there's a full narrative with everything. I've never been a fan of like you being the narrative, because it kind of has always it's always bothered me. It's like I'm forced to live out what you think I want to do. With this, it has been a case and a situation where I get to use my imagination and come up with my own narrative. Like with my fighter, my first career fighter, I am 5-5 through my first 10 fights. Has not been a smooth ride, has not been a good ride. But in my head, I'm coming up with the narrative about, well, I'm going through a lot of adversity with these fighters. I am struggling to manage my weight. I'm struggling, and while keeping my energy high and my readiness high. So I'm struggling with that and trying to navigate that. That's my own sort of narrative. I don't need a story mode to tell me about that at all. And that's what I really like. A lot of people want that. One thing I wish you could play out the trainings, but in my mind, like, I look at UFC. You can do the trainings in your career mode, but they get so repetitive and boring that you do it a little bit and then I never really touch it again. Like the option to simulate or play would be nice. Maybe we get updates later on, depending how the game does launch, and we get the ability to play the training. That would be nice. I like the ranking system. I like the coaching. I like finding gyms and upgrading your coaching as you got to go and things like that. There's a lot I really like with the career mode. DJ Double B, good evening, sir. Welcome. How you doing this morning or this evening? This morning. It's not morning here. But I've absolutely just enjoyed it. Like, if you constantly keep losing or you go back and forth like I have, you're going to end up facing the same boxers early on too. And that's something that it just makes sense. If you're struggling, you're not going to really move up the ranks, so you're going to be stuck with these low-level fighters. The thing in career mode, before I go on to the other parts I like and don't like, I do wish you could move weight classes, because it does add another level to the career to where it's like, all right, I'm at the top of this weight class. I guess I got to start over from a new weight class rather than, no, I'm a dominant fighter at middleweight. Let's move. Let's see what I can do either up or down a weight class. Let's see if I can challenge that and go from there. And when you do get to the top and a champion, it can get dull. I still enjoy the overall experience of it, but for some people, I know it'll get dull. I just know that's how it is. I'm not blind to how some people think about the game and react to the game. Gameplay, I think the movement's smooth. I do get a bit with the camera at times. Like, I'm still trying to find that perfect fit between zoomed in, zoomed out, over the shoulder, whatever. I would like some more adjustments to the cameras, but it doesn't bother me enough to where it takes away from anything. Punches for the most part are fluid. There's some weird issues of clipping through the arms at times, or where punches connect but don't look like they connect. That could cause issues, especially online play, which online play is its own animal. Like I read one review where they were like, just be ready to always face the top boxers. So what? That's just what people do. Then beat them with the other top boxers. It is what it is. But those are a couple things. I think like punch connect, fine tuning and adjustments. I think those, once a bunch more people on console, because there's way more people on console than there are on PC, when they get their hands on it, we'll see some more changes and tweaks. Like, I wouldn't this to stay this way. I would expect it to get a lot better. DJ Double B have been working a lot of the hurricane. I hope if you're in the way of the hurricanes, I hope you stay safe. My sister's down there. I have my old boss at this show down, like a lot of people I know, and I hope you guys all stay safe. I really do. I am following this storm closely because I have always been obsessed with hurricanes and weather. Ever since I was a kid, I used to when I was younger, I wanted to be I'm getting completely off topic here, but I wanted to be a weatherman. I wanted to be a meteorologist. And I would watch instead of watching cartoons as a kid, I was a kid that would watch the Weather Channel. That's what I would do. I would watch the Weather Channel, and I'd stand up in front of the TV and do what they're doing with the forecast and all that. That's what I would do as a kid. So I've been watching this storm coverage this whole time. I'll answer that in a minute because I got a couple thoughts and ideas that I'd like to see added, and a couple ideas of who I don't think I see added. But the gameplay, back to the gameplay, like we had the weird instances. So, and if you're going in thinking you're going to get this exact replica of what you see in the ring with every fight, you're not. That's okay. Depending on, like, you're not, and not every fighter could be, and they talked about it in the interview. Not every single fighter is going to fight how they do in real life. There's no time to capture and especially the old fighters, they go based on what they see, and like the fighters that have passed away or aged or whatever. But you're not going to have every fighter like sway the way they do, like Tyson Fury and Canelo and stuff like that. Like you're going to see, like Deontay Wilder, like you're going to see. But other than that, it's one of those you're not going to get that. And that's okay. I do like how, depending on your skill level, like with the sliders and the difficulty, like you can make it, if you just want to put damage modifiers up and put it on amateur and just throw haymakers and have fun with it, you can do that. If you want it to be more tactical, you can do that too. These changes, too, like from early access to now, the changes, like it did Undisputed to me. And again, all reviews are subjective. Like, they're always the reviewer's opinion. Not everybody's going to have the same exact opinion. Always, these reviews are going to, like, some people are going to crap on it, some are going to love it. I personally think, and I stand by it from all the time I've played it to what we get, that this has become one of the most enjoyable boxing games I've ever played. I do love the Fight Night. I do love the Fight Night games, 100%. I do enjoy this a lot more at this point. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. Presentation, it needs a replay suite. The crowd could be more lively. People are like, well, they don't have robes when they come out. Who gives a shit? The entourage is so small. That doesn't matter. I get it. Immersion, whatever, but the entourage being 50 people deep is not, that's a waste of elements and resources to develop for an indie game. And at the end of the day, it's an indie game. That's one thing I would have liked Saber Danger, hoping Undisputed allows for community created fighters. So you can create fighters, but I wish they would allow a sharing system. Maybe that's something down the line they announce. I would allow a sharing, but it's going to give that feeling of the old days where Cause WS for wrestling gamers out there. You would have to go to that website and they would give you every single thing for the face morphing and the body morphing to match the character you want to create. And basically that's what we're going to get with this. People are going to be doing this again and sharing what they have. And some people are so damn talented that they'll throw everything up and you just got to copy what they do. Obviously that's a completely different, that's an arcade game. Like from a simulation boxing standpoint, this is my favorite game. 100%. College football, we're going to be talking about that, IUP. We're going to be talking about college football next, actually. But yeah, with Undisputed, one of the things I saw too was like, where like the sim style of the game, like it's a sim game. There's no doubt about it. They made it a simulation boxing game, and there's people upset that it's too simulation. but they wanted a simulation game. So I don't know. You're not going to make everybody happy. Personally, again, I love this game. I really do enjoy this game. I see it's been what we've been waiting for as boxing fans. Like, I am a big boxing fan, like true boxing fan. And I've been waiting for this for 13 years, and it's finally here, and I'm excited, and I'm happy to talk about it, and I really hope it does well, because the better it does, the more updates I can put into the game, and the more features that can be added, and maybe more games down the line. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm sure if you go to the subreddit, Saber, you could ask. There's an unofficial Undisputed subreddit. There you can ask about getting, like, hey, can someone create Baby Joe Macy for me and then throw a picture up, like a really good picture, and go from there. Like, I have a feeling that'll be no issue for people. So, yeah, there's some things, like I said, I don't like the clipping through arms at times, punches connecting, but they don't look like they connect and stuff like that. But there are a lot of things that I expect to be addressed. Not big enough to be game breakers. I can't recommend. I said it when in my review. This isn't just a boxing game. It's a full boxing experience. And it's clear that this isn't a game trying to fill the void. It's trying to redefine the entire boxing game genre. And I think they're there. I think they're well on their way to being that. And I'm interested to see what comes. Now, I was asked earlier, who do I think could be added? I can tell you who I don't think will ever be added. I don't see Floyd Mayweather ever being added. I don't see Manny Pacquiao ever being added, just because the money just doesn't make sense unless they make holy crap money and they're like, we got so much disposable, let's do it. I don't see those two. I'd like to see Anthony Joshua added. Mike Tyson would be cool. Who knows what they do with that? Maybe something, because he's got his fight still scheduled apparently in November, if that actually happens. But maybe we get Mike Tyson. But Anthony Joshua I would love to see. No matter where people think he is now as a boxer, he's still someone that'd be cool. I know there's people out there that somehow want Jake Paul. And, if they get Jake Paul, if that happens, I won't like it. That's who people want. Like, they're talking about it. But it's one of those things of people will buy the Jake Paul DLC solely to punch the hell out of Jake Paul in a video game. That's what people will do. And it makes money either way. Either way, it makes money. So it's a win-win. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't. It would make sense. It would get it would get a younger demographic into the game that know who Jake Paul is. But personally, this is all my straight opinion on what I think. I think Jake Paul has made a mockery of the sport of boxing, and as a boxing fan, it kind of kills it for me. I mean, look what happens. He fights one real fighter who's not even a good real fighter, and he loses, and then he goes back to keep fighting has-beens and, older fighters or MMA fighters or people that aren't boxers and, that. Either way. So that's my thoughts on Undisputed. I really like it. I would recommend this game to anybody who asks me, should they buy it? Now, should you buy the WBC version or deluxe? Nah, I don't know. That's your call to make. I don't know. But I do think you should buy the base game. Especially if you're a boxing fan. I think the career is fun enough, especially if you have an imagination and can come up with your own story, which I can. I like it. You don't have the storylines in NHL and NBA or Madden or whatever. Like, you have some, but not story that you got to come up with your own anyway. So it's nothing that it's nothing that I don't consider to be a negative like some people do. Okay. Undisputed. We talked about that. Now it's time to move on. Madden NFL. My God, where do we start with this? And this is something, we'll talk NHL on this, we'll talk college football on this, but Madden NFL. I will warn people on Twitch. It's supposed to be an ad break in about 10 minutes. We'll see. I'll snooze it a little, but so you don't miss much. But Madden NFL is not in a position that EA is happy with, or its players. So we already know the players aren't happy based on what we've seen. I mean, there was the issue where people got scared that it was 2023 all over again, and we were about to lose Madden 23 all over again. We were about to lose our franchise mode. They wake up one day and you can't access it because they made a bug. They made a really bad issue. So Madden now we have, as of the end of September 28th, we have the latest weekly active users numbers. Now the data, this is just the United States. This comes from Circana. And it's basically the number of users over a week. Doesn't give you specific numbers, but it ranks the top 15 games. Madden 24 on PlayStation, or Madden 25 on PlayStation, is still top 10. It is 8th on PS5. It's doing fine there. It's doing fine. On Xbox, however, it has fallen in active users behind Madden 24. It has fallen to 14th, which is still top 15 on a console. That's still good. Behind Madden 24, which is 13th, a game well over a year old, not the most recent, but people are going back to that instead. People are going back to that instead. Brian, how you doing, buddy? Tale as old as time, songs as old as rhyme, Madden is a mess. I'm not singing that. I know what you wanted me to do, but I'm not doing it. Madden 25 has not made people happy. And then what adds to that, now they're all at Tiburon, but different teams, but there's a competitive nature. Share ideas, competitive nature, different, whatever. College football remains a higher user base than Madden 25. It's 6th on PlayStation 5, 7th on the Xbox Series as of September 28th. Now, we get these numbers every week, and it's likely to change. Like, I wouldn't expect Madden to stay behind Madden 24. I wouldn't expect 25. I expect it to jump back up. But it's still telling that it even got to that point. Oh, damn it, Brian. Damn it, Brian. Oh, sing, you dancing monkey. I feel like the monkey with the cymbals. I might. Maybe I'll do it at the end of this segment. And so College Football 25 is remaining higher. And it's not even because of Ultimate Team that's doing it. It's Dynasty mode is a much more enjoyable mode for a lot of people than franchise. The Superstar mode, Road to Glory, is more enjoyable for a lot of people than Superstar mode. There is that, well, we didn't have college football for a decade, for 11 years, so that newness is still there. It's still there. And then there's another, but it's not. Usually Madden takes over. It hasn't yet. There's also another a stat here regarding Madden that really surprised me. And I want to make sure I have it correct. So let me load it in front of me while we do this. And while I load this in front of me, the data. Saber Danger. Why did Madden 25 drop the ball from the emergent aspect, especially as it compares to NCAA football? NCAA shows super fans, hospital. So, I can tell you, EA has a lot more freedom for college football and what they do with that than they do with Madden. With Madden, they have to run it by the team. They got to run it by the shield. Like, the league gets final say in a lot of that stuff. College football, these schools sent them everything and said, go for it. And EA had that freedom for the most part. I mean, there's certain things, obviously, you can't do. Or they couldn't get away with, or couldn't do, or didn't want to do, whatever. But for the most part, EA had a creative control of what they did with college football. They wanted to really bring that environment in. like dynamic attendance. If your team is doing really well, you're going to start seeing fans. The NFL, they won't let that happen. Dynamic attendance is dead in Madden because they don't want to show empty stadiums. Did I not see Carolina in that stadium? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a game last year where they barely cracked a couple thousand people. I mean, come on. Brian, Tier 1 sub, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So we have, damn it, every time I get one, it throws me off because it's just one of those things of just, you don't have to. And people do. And it helps. It helps a lot. But where was I? The data. We're going to take a short ad break because I don't want everybody to get interrupted. So I'm going to run like a 30-second ad break just to turn off the pre-rolls because I really want people to get into this data. So if you're on YouTube, you're just going to see, I'll be right back, like the break screen. If you're on Twitch, hang out. I will be right back in 30 seconds because this is something, again, I don't want you guys to miss. Okay, we're back. I wanted to run that to kind of turn these off for a few minutes. So the data. They compared Newzoo, who does their video game data and things like that. They compared the launches of Madden and college football. College football, when it launched, immediately jumped up to the top of engagement, revenue charts, all that. They had a higher monthly active user figures in July than Madden did when it launched in August. In its first month, college football had generated more revenue in its release month than Madden 25 did in its. So college football, based on the pre-orders, the deluxe edition, the MVP bundle, things like the MVP bundle is a big reason Madden sold well. I mean, it was going to sell well, but the MVP bundle really did a number for that. But college football in its first month on the market generated more revenue and had more players than Madden did in its first month on the market in August. You could look at the competition where August had games like Outlaws, which wasn't really competition. That game barely sold 1 million copies, so we'll throw that out there. But then Black Myth Wukong blew up. So they had the competition. July, there wasn't much of competition. It was... And usually there's a large churn of players who stop playing college football to go to Madden. Newzoo says that just under 11% of players who played college football in July stopped playing in August to go to Madden, but more left to go play other games like Call of Duty and Fortnite. Where Madden, it doesn't have that aura. People aren't going to it, and EA has taken notice. EA has taken notice with it. So why doesn't EA add people leaving the stadiums to NHL games? Honestly, another can't fix the bugs in games because their games are so animation-based. It's a mix, no slip-up. So the people leaving the stadiums, a lot of that comes down to the leagues not wanting it. That's the big thing. The leagues don't want it, and they're not going to fight with the leagues. EA does need to leave Frostbite engine. When I worked at Sports Gamers Online, I made these things all the time. EA and the Frostbite engine, great for shooters, terrible for sports games. But they refuse to use two different engines. They need a sports specific engine. They need it. 100% do they need it. They need a sports specific engine. Madden has no excitement when you play it. Yeah, you throw a deep ball, like when you're watching football, you throw that deep ball, there's that from the crowd, that collective that. And instead, like you get a little bit of the rise on the catch and the top, but it feels so just clipped and not really organic sounding. And then you got the play-by-play, which doesn't sound like the broadcast team. I mute the play-by-play because it doesn't sound good in Madden. Chris Fowler in college football doesn't sound the best either. Reese Davis sounds fantastic. I really enjoy it. The only problem is sometimes you'll hit a big play and then the play-by-play has to catch up to what happened because it's so fat and it doesn't work. So you have some of those issues there too. But I don't want to sit here and just bash on Madden because there are times I enjoy it. Like, I do enjoy playing against other people. There's no defense. So there's no defense thing. I have figured out ways to stop people. I will tell you, in my last few Ultimate Teams, in my last few games, Ultimate Team and just head-to-head online, I'm holding people under 20 points. Most of the touchdowns I give up are admittedly kick returns or pick sixes. So how can you interview me for your channel? Just reach out to me, DM me on Blue Sky or Threads, or shoot me an email, mike@mikestrawmedia.com. So that's where we're at for Madden. Like, oh, there was one more thing we need to talk about. I don't know the context of it. So it's very loose information at this point. But there were meetings that have been had at EA regarding the state of the franchise. Now, there's a reason that an agreement, an extension with EA and the NFL hasn't been announced to yet. They're still talking. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to do or what the plan is. I don't know where that stands overall. I don't know. I just know nothing as of like a month ago, nothing's been signed yet. That the people I've talked to, I know. Or no. It might have been it might be signed, right? And the people that I've talked to that have been reliable just don't know yet. But they are still under the assumption nothing's been agreed to as far as an extension of the sim license. We're still waiting on that information. But the longer it goes without, the more nervous you kind of get. Do I ultimately see it leaving? No. I don't ultimately see it leaving. I think EA, kind of like the WW2K stuff, at the end of the day, they re-up because they have that working relationship already, and starting from scratch would be a pain in the ass. So maybe it's no longer exclusive simulation, but I still think the Madden's not going anywhere. Madden is not going anywhere. It makes still too much money, even with the lower performance. The lower performance is still pulling in billions of dollars for EA. Agreed. Buford. Yeah. Dirt. He knows. That's what he's saying. Madden needs to stop making the game on the old gen like NCAA. Exactly. Though NHL moved to just PS5 and Xbox One or Xbox Series, and it doesn't really feel that way to me. Still feels like an NHL game. There's certain things I like, but that's a game that, man, mid. I'll play it. I'll play it a lot because it's hockey, and that's what I do. I love hockey. It's my favorite sport to watch and play. Aside from lacrosse, to watch, I should say. But, man, is it a mid-tier game. Mid-tier at best. Okay. I'll do this for Brian as we move on to Motorsport Games. But before we leave Madden, tale as old as time, songs as old as rhyme, Madden is a mess. You happy? I swear to God that's going to be clipped. I swear to God. It's going to happen. Okay. Moving on now. We have much more to talk about. Oh, you got a song. You got a song. The thing is, I can kind of sing. That's, like, I'm not tone deaf. My voice isn't the best. But I can kind of sing. And then I can play my music. Like, I can do that. It's just, I don't like the sound of my own voice when it comes to that. I didn't see the message, but I did it just for you. I did not, but I do have it here. Either way, I really appreciate you, Brian. But yeah, I do have it here. Motorsport Games. Boy, this mess. Last week we talked about it on the show, and I talked about they haven't been able to find the investors that they need to keep afloat. They have a special meeting October 25th in Florida to vote on selling 900-something thousand shares at a really low price. Probably, you know what, as of today, what is the stock? It is trading at $1.35. In 5 days, it's fallen from $1.61 to $1.30. It's fallen 10% in 5 days. It's not doing well. It's not, and they're struggling. It's the only way to put it. So, what do? As per usual, they hold layoffs. I got notice Thursday that they were holding layoffs. I was told it was roughly around 10, or at least 10, give or take. I was told a little more. I think the number I was told was 12. 12 or 13. But then it came out, they announced that it was actually higher than that. They announced that it was 24 people that were being let go. So double what I had heard. And I've been talking to people who've been let go over the years. I've talking to people who are recently caught up in this layoff. And basically how it went down this time in the company, from multiple sources, was that certain protocols with layoffs weren't followed. This is what a few people have said. Certain protocols weren't followed. And then they were... Where's that email? Hold on, sorry. Yeah, certain protocols weren't followed. Those affected got emailed a letter about restructure and potential redundancies on Wednesday. And then Thursday morning, there weren't potential redundancies. They were layoffs Thursday morning. So they knew they were laying them off, gave this like, hey, it might happen, might not, and then they let them go on Thursday. There was nothing mentioned about the state of the company. They didn't have a meeting to talk about things looking dire prior to this, or even with the future of their game Le Mans Ultimate. I do know they still want to try and release it on console, but they don't have the money. They don't have the money. It's not pulling in the money that they need. All of the NASCAR games, which makes up for over 50% of their income, are about to be delisted at the end of the year. So, due to the deal with iRacing and NASCAR, those are about to be gone. So now we have them coming out on Friday like they normally do, the end of the week, when people they think aren't going to cover it. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover it for sure. That they are now having the opportunity, they are considering, quote, strategic alternatives for the company in order to maximize shareholder value. What that pretty much means is we're out of options. We're going to try and sell this company or merge. A merger is not going to happen. A merger is not going to happen. No one's going to merge with the company in that bad of a position. They're going to buy it. And they're going to buy it for cheap. The question is the Le Mans license and what they built really valuable enough to get anything in a sale? I don't think it is. I don't think they'll get much. Will it sell for few million? Probably 8 figures. Probably an 8-figure deal. But I don't see it being a lot more than that. But the company isn't in good shape. I don't think it's around by the end of the year. A year ago is when we got the news that when I had reported exclusively that the indie game was in trouble, that they were likely to lose that. The day after I had exclusively reported that at Insider Gaming, they announced they lost the license. IndyCar pulled it. And we also got NASCAR to iRacing. There was the question, Dirt Fan, I did not forget about you. How can I see how many copies of iRacing sold the World of Outlaws game? So console sales numbers aren't publicly available. You have to wait for them, or you have to reach out and hopefully get an answer from them. But more often than not, you're not going to get that information unless they wanted to say. I can tell you from the sources I've heard is that it's selling fine. It's selling within what they expected. It was never going to be a major moneymaker, a barnstorming game, or barn burner, or whatever you want to use. It's selling fine. Their focus is on the NASCAR game right now, and that development is said to be going smooth, like really well. Because the last message I got from a source surrounding it was, let me pull up my phone real quick. I'm going to look at the text right now. This was a week and a half ago. 2 weeks. September 23rd. So 2 weeks ago? Something like that. You can tell there's love and passion in what's being built. This is a game that they want to do right. This is a game that they know fans deserve, and this is what they're hoping to bring. That's what I got the last message from one of my sources around the game. So I'm still confident in what we're getting with that. I'm super excited to see. I still think we get the first screenshot. I still think we get the first screenshot at championship time in a month. Call me crazy. I don't know. I still think we get that happening. If not Daytona the latest. We did get the confirmation, that Xfinity cars will be in the game. So that's good to know. But things are looking really well on that end. They're looking really well on that end. So I'd be happy, and no matter what though, I'm still cautiously optimistic about everything, but I'm still excited about what's going on with the NASCAR game. Moving on. Games and innovation. This is something that it's a weird subject to tackle because every now and then it's just like, well, what do you want them to do at this point? Graphics can only go so far. Whatever can only go so far. And no slip-ups. I did see your comment. We'll get to that we'll talk more about that when we get to the Q&A segment. We'll go back. But games and innovation. So we talk about this a lot. Why do all these games feel the same and things like that? So we've seen a lot of games fall. A lot of games have fallen. Or fail, not fallen. Fail, fall, same thing. We've seen a lot of games fail. A lot of AAA games continue to come out and push the same thing. Year after year after year, you are getting the exact same thing from these AAA games. And now, and at the end of the day, I'm just as bad as anyone else. I'm just as bad as anyone else because I still buy it. I slop this stuff up. I still buy Call of Duty regularly. It is more of a, I don't know if it's because I'm excited to play it or it's just a game that me and a few friends, like it's the game we know we just load up and we just play for a few hours at a time or a couple hours at a time and we have fun with it. And at the end of the day, that's about it. Have fun. Do I get mad? Does it piss me off? Yes, it does. But it's still a game we buy. It is what it is. But then, this isn't like, this is kind of the pot calling the kettle black and, glass house throw stones, but because I'm just as guilty. But where is the general innovation with games? So games are, you could point to a bunch of things. You can point to how long it takes to make these games, how expensive it is, the technology behind it. And because of the money, studios and executives are afraid to try something new. But then, because of that, in a lot of ways, you get the same overproduced nonsense that we've gotten every single year from whatever studio. I mean, look, when was the last time an Assassin's Creed game, or any Ubisoft game for that matter, felt different or unique or fun? They don't. They don't anymore. Every single one of them has that same Ubisoft feeling no matter what they look like. It's just like painting a turd and polishing a turd and giving your Geo Metro from 1997 that's fallen apart another coat of paint or a wrap thinking that'll just make it better. Or, putting a body on a Dodge Neon trying to hide the fact that you're driving a Dodge Neon. Your body kit isn't hiding anything in your Mitsubishi Eclipse kit. Sorry. But you get the same thing. I mean, Assassin's Creed, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get sneak attacks. You're going to get a ton of trailing missions. You're going to get walking. You're going to get long ladder climbs. You're going to get a bunch of the same stuff you get every damn time. And that's my point, Double B. But, and I'll talk about that in a second. But then you look at Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty's been the same for the most part. I'm not a big Call of Duty campaign person. I'll probably maybe play this one, but first-person shooter campaigns rarely get me. Because it's just, go on, shoot. You can just run through it, gun it, and it doesn't change. I'll probably just watch the cutscenes to get the story. Online, someone will post this whole story, and I'll do it that way because you can play the game the same way every time. And I don't care what you try and say, you can do that. And now in 2024, being able to run in any direction is what accounts for a major update and feature for this generation. Really? Really? Come on. And now this goes into, DJ, what you said. Think devs know that we'll buy the game no matter what, so they've gotten lazy, plus the higher-ups are money hungry. So the developers themselves, the people actually writing the code, I will never attack as someone who's been in there. The developers are building what they're told to build in the time frame they have to build it in. So if the executives and the game directors are saying, we need it to do this, even though it's the same thing they've done every damn year, they're going to do this. They're just going to do the same thing. So I won't blame the individual developers and the artists and stuff like that because they're literally doing what they're told to do. And with this industry, over 13,000, likely around 16,000 with the real numbers, but there's still a bunch of jobs that had layoffs that we don't know the numbers. Gaminglayoffs.com for that, tracking all that website I built. But with the industry being as volatile as it is and everybody afraid of losing their jobs, they're going to walk on eggshells and just put their head down and do what they're told. Do what they're told. But then that makes me think, you got to look at indie games. Indie games are where the innovation lies for the most part. But that's why games, you look at games like Dave the Diver and Balatro do so well. Because they try something different, even if it's on a take on a tried and true method. They try something different and it works. The Metroidvania games just look, you know what they're based off of, but they're trying something different and they work. And I'm not for example, Tales of Kinzera Zao. That is a game. The mask system I really like for the abilities. In choosing. The story is fantastic. It's one of my games of the year. One of my favorite games of 2024. Tales of Kinzera Zao. It's backed by EA, yes, but it's still an indie game. It's part of their indie line. Like, it's a fantastic game, but they tried something. And I'm not saying like every game that comes out has to break the mold, right? But it's clear that people are starting to get tired of the same old thing. Sometimes it works, and if you do a genre well enough, it really doesn't matter that it doesn't have anything earth-shattering new or things like that. But then you have a Concord, which comes out after 8 years in development, does absolutely nothing unique for the hero shooter, and flops floppier than the floppiest of fish. That thing flopped harder than Magikarp. And it was dead on arrival because people were tired of what they got. And you just wonder where things are. Where's the innovation? And you're getting it like there's so many indie games that are doing it. There's so many indie games. I mean, go back even 10 years, like what Undertale did. Go back longer, 15 years, what Braid did. Are you kidding me with that? I mean, there's so many. You look at like the 6-1 Indie Showcase. Fantastic group of people. Mike and Kyle, great people. The indie games they show get me more excited than what you see. I mean, and then at the end of the day, one of the best games of the year is a platformer, Astrobot. A beautiful game, great game. Like that did it. Team Asobi did it so well. But like you look at these indie games and like Dave the Diver and Nine Souls and RoboQuest and just all these games. If you really want innovation, this is where you're gonna have to look. Just saying. Indie games are where you gotta look if you want innovation. And if you're content with the same old, that is not a problem. Like, again, I dive into that. I still play Madden. I still play Call of Duty at times. Like, I still play these traditional, tried and true games. Nothing changes with me. So, at times. But I also want these new experiences. And we're at the point, like, graphics can only go so far. We're all in AI frame generation at this point, and DLSS and FSR, and you know what I mean? Like, this is where we're at. We need to get back to where innovation in gameplay is what matters. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay. Moving on to the Q&A part. Get your questions in however you like on Twitch, Twitter, or Twitch and YouTube. Make sure you're liking this video, please. That helps. The more people like it, the more it gets shown. If you're watching on the purple site, hop on over to YouTube. It's all Mike Straw Media right there on screen. And just leave a like on it. You don't even have to watch it there. Just leave a like because that helps more than you know. The more likes, the more people get shown it after the fact. On Twitch, it's just the more people in here and the more interaction. The more you interact on Twitch, the better. So, questions. We have first it's not really a question, but no slip-ups. Most frustrating part is the EA makes billions and they don't invest. They do invest. They do. It's just the executives invest into the wrong areas. They do invest. I just don't think they invest into the right areas, and you only have a certain amount of time. So the developers are kind of screwed. What else we got? Dirt Racing Fan. So do you think MSG will shut off service to online in their NASCAR? Eventually. I don't think it'll be day of, unless they've announced it. I don't think they announced they're taking. I know like NASCAR Heat 2 and 3 have been shut down for a while. NASCAR Heat 5 goes up and down when it wants, and I don't think they're going to keep fixing it Eventually, once it drops, it drops. Ignition doesn't matter. So, I mean, I think it's not going to be long after. That's what I think. I think it's not going to be long. Hello, sister. Everybody in the chat, tell my sister to stay safe. And she should have left. Because it's worrying me and it bothers me. Who owns the services for the online? I don't know. I think they manage it. To be honest. Justin, not asking you for anything for specific, but what do you feel will be the biggest new thing in WWE 2K25? New match types, new mode, new game. I think, and this is without information. This is without any information that I know. I think we finally get something with universe mode. Whether that's a merger, which I think ultimately should happen, a merger into GM, or they finally do something, I think we'll get that. New match types, I don't know what match types they can get at this point. Maybe the Iron Survivor is the new match type, because what else could they really do that, what else could they really do that has people, like, it has almost everything you could ask for at this point. So I think maybe more freedom in match types, like war games in different arenas and stuff like that. But I think Iron Survivor could be the next match type we see. Gameplay, I really hope they give you an easier control scheme to learn if you're newer to the game. But they seem to be happy with the overall gameplay engine and how that's running. But we'll see. Games go. What else do we have as we wind down here? Again, please like, subscribe wherever you're watching. Share it. We have that. Asking that Dev knows. Am I getting the PS5 Pro? Nope. Not even close. It ain't worth that money. What I view the PS5 Pro as is a test to see how far people will go and how much people will pay for the next-gen consoles. Because if they're doing $700 for a mid-gen refresh of a console, who knows? Like, you don't think they're going to try and push $700-800 for the PS6? They shouldn't. It should be $400, $500 most. But if the PS5 Pro sells well or sells better than expected, which I had said from day one, you shouldn't have to worry about inventory of it whatsoever, like with these scalpers trying to put up the standard PS5 Pro as if it's going to make bank inventory. I don't. So no PS5 Pro. Am I getting Silent Hill 2? I kind of want to. It's Halloween season. It's spooky season. I usually replay Undertale because that's always my spooky game. I'll play some Dead by Daylight in the dark like an idiot and scream like a little child. But I will also, Silent Hill 2, I kind of want to. Though at the same time, I kind of just want to play the original Silent Hill. They always overcharge. That's all they do. Sometimes I hate this industry that I love. I hate it. Love it and hate it at the same time. It has made me money. It has been fun. But damn, does it bother me at times. Upcoming, before I forget, plans for the show. We're going to continue the Tuesday nights at 8:30, but we're also going to likely be doing it 1 or 2 more times a week. But these will be day streams. Thursday during the day is a possibility, as well as Mondays during the day. One of those will be more sports oriented. But I'm trying to figure things out and how I want to do this. So that's the plan. Might stream again on. I'm not bringing the stream. I have had people ask, "Are you going to stream on Twitter again?" No. It does get the most views out of everything. Let's put it that way. Like, blows everything out of the water. It's just I don't know if I want to be live on that platform. I try to be off that platform as much. Like I'm on Blue Sky and Threads as much as possible. So not going to do that. Do I think WWE 2K5 would add pay-per-view both Saturday and Sunday? I think that's one thing they do add to Universe Mode no matter what is the ability to throw pay-per-views on Saturday. Like it would make sense. It makes too much sense to not to do it. You know what I mean? Have I heard of anything of a Halloween Michael Myers game? I want to say there's one in development. No. The last I heard was that I know there's Retro Realms, Halloween and Ash vs. Dead Evil. Like there's that old school game. But I know, yeah, Boss Team Games is working on 2 new games based on Halloween. That was revealed in August. And the original film's director, John Carpenter, is involved. When does what come out? The PS5 Pro? It is already out. Oh, Michael Myers? Those games, yeah. My guess is we're probably not going to see it until 2025 at the earliest. Maybe late 2025 is when we see those games. Do I have any racing interviews lined up? I'm working on trying to get one with iRacing. I want to get another one with iRacing and talk to them about Monster World of Outlaws and Monster Games and how the development of NASCAR is going and stuff like that. But it's been phone tag or email tag constantly. A lot of back and forth. 2K25, March of next year. It will be out in March. I was at Best Buy. Let's see. Why is my chat like so tiny over here? Oh, that's because I merged it. Oops. I was at Best Buy and they had a ton of PS5 behind the counter and bought a controller, open box, $50 right above. Yeah. The stock is not an issue anymore, but scalpers are still going to scalp. Like they did it a lot with the frustrating with the 30th anniversary. They ruined that launch. Like scalpers and bots bought that nonsense and it blew everything up to where we are seeing them go, like people are putting them for 10,000. My banner's messed up and it's driving you crazy. On which, like on Twitch? Where's it messed up? Is EA Sports FC doing good? In the latest weekly active users, let me load that back up. I can tell you right now. I have that information right in front of me. EAFC is not in the top 15 as of September 28th, so it had just launched. Only been there for a day. It was not in the top 15 for either PlayStation or Xbox. You know what was in the top 15? WWE 2K24 was number 12 on PlayStation. I do expect it to be up there, though, when we get the new data next week for the first week of October and stuff. Yeah, NBA 2K. Oh, the Bandits one behind me. There we go. World Champions. I hope they give us another one. NBA 2K that's another game. It's in the top 5 on PlayStation, top 10 on Xbox. I can't touch it. It's so the dirty microtransaction policies they have and what they do, I can't touch it. Like if you build a player in 2K, you have to, if you want to respec them, you have to pay real money to respec them. Like, that's stupid. If I go like, I want to change how my build is, I don't have to pay to do that. That's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to at all. But that's where we're at. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Mike Straw Show here on Twitch and YouTube every Tuesday night at 8:30. I will be back later this week. We're going to launch 1 or 2 more shows a week. Make sure you're following me on Threads and Blue Sky at Mike Straw Media for updates on that. All of my content, my game stuff, insider-gaming.com, and my sports columns, twsn.net. Dropped 2 today on there. Is there an MLL game? No, but there is a new college lacrosse game in development. I'll have more on that hopefully in the next couple weeks. Until next time, subscribe, like, share, follow. I love you all. Take care of one another. Be kind to one another. I'm out.